Okay, today we're going to talk about the slope connection between proportional relationships and the slope of a line. We learned the slope of a line, we learned what proportional relationships are. Now we're going to find the connection. If you're learning target, you can use slope to find unit rates and analyze what that means. So, let's just delve right into it here. Myrtle drives the same number of miles to and from work each day, as shown on the graph below. So we have miles and days. Based on the graph, what is the unit rate? So you have to find the slope. So you're going to write slope next to it. Just a reminder, slope is rise over run. Do you remember that? Rise over run. Yes. Yes, say yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so here's a perfect point. And my next perfect point I see is right there. Now you could honestly use any perfect points you use, you just have to simplify. Now my rise is up 10, 20, 30, and my run is over 1. It looks like it's scaled by 0.5, so 0.51. So now I have to analyze that, and that's part of the analyzing or interpreting part. This means that it takes me 1 day to go 30 miles. So it takes 1 day to go 30. And that's how I expect you to analyze the graphs today. This says, based on the graph, what is the unit rate? You could say 30 over 1, but you have to know what we're talking about. It means this is miles on top, because miles is the y. The y is the miles. So it's 30 miles is to 1 day. Okay, next is a table. The table below shows the cost of grapes in the produce aisle at the grocery store. Based on the table, what is the unit rate? Do you remember how to find slope from a table? How? Just tell me how.
Put it in a fraction.
Yeah, you have to go change in y over change in x. That's slope from a table. Change in y over change in x. So x is always usually on the left-hand side. Y changed by what? Adding 430. You see? Add 430 all the way down. How did my x change? Adding 2. So my slope is change in y, 430, over change in x, 2. Now that's not a unit rate. And your learning target today is to find unit rate. There's 2 ways to do unit rate. You can just divide them. That's what I typically do. Or you can create a proportion, which I saw a lot of my kids do my previous hour. So 2 strategies I'll show you. You can go 430 divided by 2, which is how much? 215? 215. But I have to analyze that. That's not my answer. I have to support it with what I'm talking about. So I would say 215 per pound of grapes. Okay? If you don't analyze what you're talking about, you're not meeting the learning target today. You need to be able to look at a graph or a table and know the variables you're talking about, which means money and grapes. What was this? Miles and days. So you need to incorporate what we're talking about in it. Strategy number 2 would have been 430 is to 2 pounds as how much is for 1 pound. So I'm talking about money in pounds. So 430 is to 2 pounds as how much is for 1 pound. A lot of kids like proportions too. Whatever strategy you like, you're going to end up with the same answer.